what would you do if you had access to $1 billion? Now imagine if that $1 billion wasn't yours to begin with. In the shadows of the digital realm, a new breed of criminals has emerged. Those that don't need guns or masks, but lines of code to pull off daring heists. Today, we delve into a tale of audacity, intrigue and deception, a cyber heist that shook the world. A story that starts in Bangladesh and weaves its way across the globe. Welcome to the world of the Bangladesh Bank cyber heist. In the heart of Bangladesh's financial district, an unsuspected villain was at play. A silent, unseen adversary had infiltrated the Bangladesh Bank, the country's central bank. The culprits? Security hackers armed with the lethal Dridex malware, their weapon of choice? The SWIFT network, a secure financial messaging service trusted by banks worldwide. But on this fateful day, the SWIFT network became an unwitting accomplice to a grand heist. The hackers issued 35 fraudulent instructions through the network. Their audacious aim? To illegally transfer close to $1 billion from the Federal Reserve Bank of New York account belonging to Bangladesh Bank. Now let that sink in for a moment. $1 billion, that's a 1 followed by 9 zeros. A sum so vast it's hard to even fathom. As the hackers set their plan into motion, the banking system flagged 30 transactions worth $851 million for staff review. But in the intricate web of global finance, 5 of these fraudulent requests slipped through the cracks. $20 million was successfully transferred to Sri Lanka, intended for the Shalika Foundation, a private limited company. But the real jackpot was the $81 million that found its way to the Philippines. On the 5th of February 2016, this hefty amount entered the Southeast Asian country's banking system. It was deposited into 5 separate fictitious accounts with the Rizal Commercial Banking Corporation, then laundered through casinos, and some later transferred to Hong Kong. In the end, the heist was only partially successful. The hackers did not walk away with their intended $1 billion, but they did manage to abscond with a staggering $101 million. And just like that, $101 million vanished into thin air. A crime of unimaginable proportions had taken place right under the noses of the world's financial guardians. And the trail of this audacious cyber heist was leading investigators across continents, from the bustling streets of Manila to the secluded corners of Sri Lanka. Money, like water, always finds a way out. In the case of the Bangladesh Bank cyber heist, the flow of illicit funds was nothing short of a torrent. The stolen funds, a staggering $101 million, were redirected with a calculated precision that would make any seasoned criminal blush. The lion's share, $81 million, was funneled into the Philippines. It was deposited into 5 separate accounts with the Rizal Commercial Banking Corporation, or RCBC. These accounts were fictitious, a clever ruse designed to confuse and conceal. Once inside the RCBC, the funds took another journey, this time to a foreign exchange broker. From there, they were returned to the RCBC, consolidated into a single account belonging to a Chinese-Filipino businessman. Yet the Philippines wasn't the only destination on the hackers' itinerary. $20 million were earmarked for Sri Lanka. The intended recipient was the Shalika Foundation, a private limited company based in the island nation. But here the criminals made a mistake. A spelling error in the transfer instructions raised suspicion at Deutsche Bank, who promptly halted the transaction. But the story doesn't end there. The money that made its way to the Philippines was not content to sit idle. It was laundered through casinos, the perfect front for such a vast sum. Some of it was even transferred all the way to Hong Kong, spreading the trail even further. In essence, the money did what it was intended to do. It flowed, it twisted, it turned, it ebbed. It was a river of illicit funds, snaking its way through the global financial system, leaving chaos and confusion in its wake. But like any river, it left a path. A trail that investigators could follow, a breadcrumb trail of digital transactions that would eventually lead them back to the source. It was a game of cat and mouse, a high-stakes treasure hunt with millions of dollars on the line. But mistakes were made, and a trail was left behind. The game of cat and mouse had begun. The Bangladesh Bank, in a bid to uncover the perpetrators behind this audacious heist, enlisted the help of World Informatics Cybersecurity, a US-based firm renowned for their expertise in tackling cyber threats, and Mandiant, a specialist in incident response and forensic services. Together, they embarked on a complex investigation to trace the digital fingerprints left behind by the hackers. Their sleuthing led them to the discovery of the Dridex malware, a notorious piece of software designed to steal banking credentials. This insidious program had wormed its way into the bank's systems, lurking undetected while gathering vital information about the bank's operational procedures for international payments and fund transfers. But the investigation didn't stop at the identification of the malware. The team dug deeper, following the trail of the stolen funds and the shadowy figures who had orchestrated the heist. The money, they discovered, had been funneled through the Philippines, deposited into fictitious accounts in the Rizal Commercial Banking Corporation, before being laundered through casinos and transferred to Hong Kong. Meanwhile, the US FBI's suspicions were piqued by the possible involvement of an insider. One bank employee, they believed, may have played a crucial role in the heist, potentially acting as an accomplice to the hackers. And then, a game-changing revelation. Federal prosecutors in the United States unveiled possible links between the government of North Korea and the theft. The US charged a North Korean computer programmer with hacking the Bangladesh Bank on behalf of the regime in Pyongyang. But what could be the motive behind such an act? Was it purely financial, or was there a more sinister political agenda at play? The answers remain shrouded in mystery, buried deep within the labyrinthine world of international cybercrime. The net was closing in, but the criminals were not done yet. Every action has a consequence, and this was no different. The Bangladesh Bank cyber heist sent shockwaves across the globe, and the aftershocks were felt in every corner of the banking and cybersecurity world. At the epicenter of the storm, Atiur Rahman, the governor of Bangladesh Bank, chose to resign from his post. The weight of the scandal was too heavy, and his resignation was a clear sign of the severity of the situation. But he was not the only one to suffer the fallout. Across the ocean in the Philippines, the Rizal Commercial Banking Corporation, or RCBC, faced a hefty penalty for their involvement in the money laundering scheme. The Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, the country's central bank, levied a fine of $52.92 million against RCBC. This was a stark reminder that the long arm of the law and justice stretches across borders and oceans. But the aftermath of the heist was not just about penalties and resignations. It was also about change, about taking steps to ensure that such a heist could never happen again. The Society for Worldwide Interbank Financial Telecommunication, better known as SWIFT, took the incident as a wake-up call. They urged banks using the SWIFT Alliance access system to bolster their cybersecurity measures, to build stronger defenses against the stealthy and sophisticated threats lurking in the digital shadows. The heist served as a stark reminder of the vulnerabilities inherent in our interconnected world. It highlighted the need for vigilance, for robust security systems, and for constant adaptation in the face of evolving threats. The world had changed, and the banking sector had to change with it. From the resignation of a high-ranking official to a hefty fine on a commercial bank, from a wake-up call to the world of cybersecurity, to a shift in the way we approach digital threats. The aftermath of the Bangladesh Bank cyber heist was far-reaching and transformative. The heist changed the world of cybersecurity forever. In the end, the billion-dollar question remains. This digital age has brought us the convenience of online banking and lightning-fast transactions, but with it has also come the spectre of cybercrime, an invisible and insidious enemy that can strike anywhere, anytime. The Bangladesh Bank cyber heist is a stark reminder of the vulnerability of our financial systems, even those that seem impervious. The heist didn't just steal money, it stole trust. Trust in the systems that we rely on for our daily transactions, our businesses, our economies. Yet, in the shadow of this crime, we find resilience and the determination to fortify our defenses to make our systems not just stronger but smarter. efforts are being redoubled worldwide to prevent such incidents from recurring. Banks are now investing in advanced cybersecurity measures, and regulatory bodies are tightening their oversight. We've seen the implementation of stricter rules and protocols, and an increased emphasis on staff training. In the world of finance, the heist served as a wake-up call. It underlined the need for constant vigilance, for proactive measures, for never underestimating the cunning and resourcefulness of those with ill intent. In the realm of cybersecurity, it highlighted the importance of staying one step ahead, of anticipating potential threats, of being prepared for the unimaginable. So, we return to our opening question. What would you do if you had access to $1 billion? Think carefully, because the answer could change the world.